This first example says write an equation in vertex form by completing the square. So it's kind of like what we did yesterday. But like I said, now if we look at that value that's out in front of the x squared, it's not a 1. So we have to deal with that first, because anytime we're completing the square in here, we want that value out in front of the x squared to be 1. So the first thing we are going to do is we're going to kind of group those two things together. We're going to group together the x squared and the x. And yesterday we kind of thought of that 17 as kind of being outside of our parentheses, right? We're going to keep it there. It's kind of this trailing thing that's just going to kind of come along kind of for the ride. Now, if you'll notice, I've got 2x squared plus 12x. They've got a common factor. Their common factor is 2. So I'm going to factor out a 2 from there. So if I factor out a 2 from 2x squared, I'm left with x squared plus what? 6x. Now you'll notice that my value out in front of the x squared, that's 1, right? So that's a good thing. So now we're going to complete the square now at this point. That 17 still has to stay out there. And we're just going to kind of bring that 17 along for the ride. Now, like yesterday, we complete the square. Half of 6 is 3. 3 squared is 9. So I have to put a 9 there on that box. Here's where it differs now a little bit from yesterday. Yesterday, we would have said subtract off 9, right? Okay, well, don't write what I'm about to write, but I just want to show you why we have to do what we have to do. If you think about, we factored out a 2x, right? We factored out that 2. If I distribute that back in, that's 2x squared plus 12x plus 18. So what have I really added in there? I've really added in there 18, not 9, because I have to distribute that 2 back. Now, we're not going to distribute that 2 back. That's why I didn't want you to write this down. We're not going to distribute that 2 back in there because we got a factor still. But why I did that is I just wanted you to see that though it looked like we were only adding 9 in there, we're actually adding 18 in there. So what we're going to do, again, instead of writing all that, we are going to subtract 18 from outside with our 17. Where yesterday that would have been minus 9. Today it has to be minus 18 in this case because that 2 would be distributed through it. Okay. So now the next step then is to say, all right, we're going to bring this 2 down. We're going to factor this now because that's the whole thing why we're completing the squares. We're going to factor this into perfect squares. So that would be x plus half of 6 is 3 squared. And then 17 minus 18 is minus 1. So there's our equation in vertex form by completing the square. So it is a lot of the same stuff as yesterday, which is one added step. And that step gets awful confusing because of what you're taking out. And you have to remember when you're taking that out, whether it's a 2, whether it's a negative, no matter what it is, you have to distribute it back in when you're thinking about what you have to do kind of to the trailer thing. That's kind of, I think Mrs. Reinen uses the word trailer for that 17. It kind of just comes along with us. We have to do 18 instead. Okay? What's that? There's a napkin right there. Let's look at number 2. Whoa. So number 2, now we've got x. It doesn't matter if it's x or y equals. This direction thing. So we've got x equals 2y squared plus 8y plus 7. So again, we're looking at that value out in front of our squared, and it's a 2. Okay? It's an issue. So we're going to factor a 2 out of there. Okay, so I'm just going to put parentheses around just those 2 values. That 7's our trailer. Just coming along for the ride. So if I factor out a 2, that leaves me with y squared plus 4y. But now we know we want to complete the square, so it's plus something. And then we bring our 7 along for the ride. We concentrate on the highlighted area right here. In that highlighted area, we complete the square. What's going to complete the square in the highlighted area? 4. Half of 4 is 2. 2 squared is 4. Okay, so now I've done something. I've added something in there. What do I have to subtract out of there? I have to subtract 8. 2 times 4 is 8. So I've added in 8, so I have to subtract off 8. Good job. So 2, this factored becomes y plus half of 4 is 2 squared. I think I got minus 1 again. Got an x equals there to make it an equation. And there it is. We're done. Now, it doesn't change if it's a 3 or if it's a 6 or if it's a whatever. You factor out that 3, you factor out that 6, whatever. Kind of the next thing is that happens then. Are we okay with this one? Make sense? What kind of happens then is you start getting something that, uh-oh, we've got a negative symbol in there. Negative symbols always throw us for loops. Thank you. All the printers in this building seem to be down.
I saw that.
It's like, Eric, help.
Yeah. Nope.
How did you made it home okay?
Yeah. Kind of freaked out, but we're okay.
Stupid. And I said, and then I felt bad because like, oh shoot, I called you, and
You
I
called me
did.
right as I hit it.
Oh, I hope I didn't distract you.
No, it doesn't. Everything's fine. I mean,
Okay.
we'll get it fixed.
Because I'm thinking, God, I hope I didn't distract him and make him hit that deer.
But was it amazing how calm I was?
It was amazing.
Yeah, just hit a deer.
Yeah, that's all you said. It's like, oh my gosh.
So, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
We're good. Yep.
Yeah. So, story, because you were listening, you have to, so we time track meets together. That's Mr. Harder, or whatever. We time track meets together, and we kind of run a business together. So we were in Stewartville last night. So I'm driving out of Stewartville, and he's about a half mile behind me. And I come up on, I don't know, like 8 deer right on the side of the road. And I braked, and they weren't close to the road yet. So I picked up my phone and called him to warn him that they were there. And then that was the rest of the story. He hit the deer as soon as I called him, and I was worried, God dang, I just distracted him and made him hit a deer. Crap. Whew. But he was completely calm. I just hit a deer. Okay? Are you okay? He hit it, he has a Pilot, and he just hit it off the front passenger side bumper on the side of it. So it dented his bumper and pushed his light in. Everything still worked, and he was able to drive. And the deer wasn't even there. The deer wasn't there this morning when it was, because it was dark. But it wasn't there this morning, so the deer evidently got somewhere. I'm sure it's dead now, but it wasn't on the side of the road. What? Well, I mean, Happy Earth Day. Sorry. So let's look at this one. So what do you suppose I have to factor out?
So it wouldn't have had to figure out your fight.
It wouldn't have, but it was awful dark. And pulling all, yeah, that'd be rough. What do I have to factor out of there? A negative. So we're going to group this together here, but now we're going to pull out a negative. So if I take a negative out of there, I'm left with minus 8x. Now we still have to put plus our box, minus 13. So we're going to put 16 in there. Very good. But now what?
You would do 16 minus 13.
Subtract a negative 16, which would be the same thing as adding 16. Yep. We have to add 16 to this. And we add 16 to this because, again, you throw that negative back in there. It's negative x squared plus 8x minus 16. So you've actually subtracted a 16 in the middle there. So we have to add a 16 to get rid of it. Factor what's inside of there. X minus 4, half of 8. And then plus 3. And then you've got y equals. So I'm recording this video now, right? So you can imagine listening to that story now if you're watching. Because you guys obviously don't listen to them. That would mean I'd have to edit. I don't edit them. That's
Wait, is that like a YouTube video?
kind of the... Yeah.
Hey, Hey, you should.
We're famous.
Hey, you should do
Oh my
TikTok
God.
instead. You get more viewers, and then you put your YouTube link in it.
My videos are longer than 3 minutes.
No, but you could
Follow
short
me on
it out.
TikTok.
Like you just like edit it for like yeah.
I don't want to edit. That's the whole point. I don't edit.
You get like.
I used to edit. This with this videos now, I don't edit because you guys are here. You shouldn't have to listen to them.
It could be like the one guy who gets billions of views.
Yeah.
Well, who wants to watch a math video on TikTok?
Anyways, it's Earth Day. Everyone go ride your bikes.
You see the live outside.
And you wouldn't have hit a deer
Okay.
if you were on your. And you wouldn't have hit a deer if you were on your bike.
It's Earth Day.
Do that one. Actually, did everybody write this one down already? No.
I did.
Okay, then do it. Do this one. He just got that car fixed from being in an accident in the cities. He didn't create the accident. He got hit by somebody merging, but he had just got it back like a week ago.
Spanish dictionary. That's what I'm
He has a Honda
Yeah, because
Pilot.
it's way better.
Well, I feel like I've seen him in like that little tiny car that's in the
He's like a
parking
used
lot.
Used to. He doesn't have that anymore. And then he drives a big old truck now. He got rid of that and bought a big old truck.
Pilot.
Definitely use it.
No, he's got a Pilot and then he bought like a Dodge Ram, or I don't know.
Oh, nice.
Well, you could have got the ram and just rammed the deer out of the way.
No kidding. It's like brand new. Like he's had that for like 3 months. I'd really feel bad, or 4 months. Really feel bad if he would have hit that. Although it probably would have went under it, the thing so dang high. How'd I do? What's that?
You got 6 times 6 is 36.
6 times 6 is.
So it's what's half of 12 is 6, and then times that by 6 is a square, and you get 36.
You know what you're doing. You just got yourself confused on one and forgot what you were doing for a minute. It's all right. It happens. Which one? This part here? I'm highlighting, so because when I say this part here, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
More like, I don't know, like where you put like the plus blank.
Why do I do that?
Or like I just feel like I understand it's because then to get the end
Yep.
part, but it just doesn't make sense.
So you take half of whatever your B value is, so half of that 12, and then take it times itself. So half of 12 is 6, 6 squared is 36. That's where that 36 comes from. Okay. One more. So now in this last one, we're going to kind of put negatives and together, but not only are we going to put it in vertex form this time, but I also want you to identify the vertex directions of opening and graph it. Okay, so do all of the steps with this one.
Wait, is this basically like the homework today?
This is I essentially copied the homework and hit regenerate.
Oh.
And so yes, I mean this is exactly like what the homework is. And not usually how I do things, but I was lazy this morning.
It's all good. It's Earth Day.
It was raining this morning.
Love me.
Rock, I'm so good with how my dog can get.
Looks like the rain is forming behind the current rain that's gone. But
Forming behind the rain.
well, there's another cell forming now off to the west. but it says
I think we're
it's,
supposed to get a little more rain around like 1-ish.
yeah, and then it should be gone.
Do you think the track meet will be canceled?
I don't think so. It's gonna be awful. I'm glad I'm not a long jumper, triple jumper, shot putter, or discus thrower. Especially shot putter, or long jumpers are gonna get just sandy. The shot put's gonna sink 4 feet. You're gonna have to get a shovel to dig it out.
It won't be that bad though.
Bro, spring sports like
Not for me,
cancel
at least.
every single year.
I'll be in the press box. It can rain all at once.
I'm just happy we have the other circle, or else we'd be.
God, we had to fight to get that. They gave us one. They wouldn't. It took us 6 years to finally convince them to put that second one in.
At the last meet we had, I think Parabola. Yeah, some guy who was throwing disc, tombstone 3 times in a row.
Cling. Jeez. Are we ready? We're at a 16-minute YouTube video right now.
So how come you can edit, it can be like 6 minutes?
Yes, but if it takes me longer if I edit.
I can edit, I'm so fast at editing.
Well, I can too. I just don't like to. It's called laziness.
I'm only looking for this slide, but I have no say.
So factor out a -2. That gives me y squared plus 6y. Then we're going to put our whatever. Bring our trailer along. What do I put in the box? 9. So what do I have to put with my trailer? Plus
Oh, 18, no?
plus 18. And make sure you take it times the 2 as well. I've got the plus part right, but again, make sure you distribute that 2 in there as well. That's why I did this one. So now factor, this factors 2y plus 3 squared.
Uh-huh. And then it would be -6.
-6.
That's the answer.
So it's x equals, so that tells us it has to open left or right, and it's negative.
So it goes left.
So it's going to go to the left. So it's going to look like that. Vertex, careful. -6, -3. Remember, if it's inside parentheses, it's the opposite. But good job getting the -6 where it needed to be. That's a common mistake. So now if we graph it, -6, -3 is about right there. That's a beautifully sketched graph. So that's what you have today. Be very, very careful. You're going to get lots of practice on this stuff as time kind of goes on. You've got lots of time today. You got about 22 minutes with the assignment.